Hi, this is Coach Parker. Welcome back to my youth football coaching clinic series. Today we're going to talk about blocking. This is a continuation of my offensive presentation. Once again, I've done this presentation for my home youth football league that I'm a commissioner for, Keller Youth Association's football league. I've been here, coaching in Keller for almost 7 years now. But so we are talking about blocking today, and this is kind of a special topic to me. I was a lineman in youth football, and up and through I think about 8th grade, I played on the offensive line, and I remember a lot of coaches kind of ignoring that, and I see that quite a bit in our rookie coaches and some coaches that may not have the winning record that they're really looking for. A lot of times coaches rely on that tier 1 tailback and speed to win a bunch of football games, but a lot of times you just don't get that running back, or he gets hurt, and you've got to really start relying on your blocking. And so today we're going to talk about youth football blocking. So the first point here for coaches, you must have blocking assignments. You just can't say, go block somebody. Just go block someone. That just doesn't really work. It works, a couple of times, but consistently just go block somebody just doesn't really cut it, especially in a very, very competitive youth football league. Some of the assignments that we have, and we'll talk about those here in a minute, there are blocking rules. These are kind of general rules that have been out there for a long time. You've got God, which is gap on down, SAB. I think the Gregory Double Wing folks have kind of coined the term SAB, which is severe angle block. I grew up knowing it just angle block. You've got GOO, which is gap on outside. Wedge, wedge block. BB, so the old butt-to-butt split blocks that maybe you ran in junior high and high school. Gold is kind of mine, added a D there to gold, which is gap on linebacker. I've kind of got gap on linebacker, defender, or down, depending on how we define that this season. Of course, you've got some zone blocking, which is a little difficult at the youth level, but some of you might be able to pull that off at the select youth level. But those are the blocking assignments that I run, and I usually run pretty much all of those in a season based on plays, not just one. I mean, I know several coaches may just run God or severe angle block, but I actually run, when I've got my offense fully tuned up, we'll probably use every one of those blocks except for maybe a zone block. So make sure when you pull, you write up your offensive plays, you actually think about what defense a certain team is going to be in and what blocking rule and roles you want your blockers to block and who to block. And that's really very critical. It's almost more important to know who to block than it is to know how to block, because a lot of kids will just start blocking the wrong guy or run out in the open and not do anything, and the defense will just pretty much run by them. So make sure, and once again I'm going to stress this, that you have blocking assignments. It's kind of a big deal. The other thing is blocking for, I guess I'm 50 plus now, but blocking has really changed since a lot of us were in high school. So we'll start talking about that. And how I try to explain what blocking is to, little kids is really blocking is just violent shoving, like somebody stole your your Xbox or broke your Xbox or stole your phone in line, and you would just shove them, and let them know you didn't like it. That's really what blocking is. We're going to violently kind of shove somebody out of the way, and if we get to knock people down on their butakis, which is the word I use for butt in youth football, and it's amazing how many kids remember that term. But to really, shove them and then knock them down on their butakis. We have a sticker for butaki blocks, and so kids are like looking for that. And we always talk about hands are weapons. We want to get our hands up and on our defender fairly quickly, because whoever ever has the fastest hands and fingers usually wins in football. So we want to make sure we're using our hands, not our forearms, kind of like we used to have been taught when we were younger. We want to be able to engage a person quickly. We want to have our eyes on our target, because our body usually goes where our eyes look. So we want to make sure we're looking, pretty much we know and look at who we're going to block and actually where on the body our hands are going to go when we make our technique move. And look, when we're talking about violent shoving, hands are weapons, eyes are on top target, we're not talking about, we're blocking like our own, I call these chicken wings. We're not blocking like this anymore. We're actually engaged. We're going to grab underneath the armpits and elbows, that shoulder pad area, engage our defender kind of with our T-Rex hands, and then we can turn them and do what we want. If the defender moves out, we release, but we actually want to engage his chest, get into it, and actually make our moves there with our quick hands and feet. We want to do our little hip roll and drive into him and then make our move. I also like to tell our guys that we really want to attack one side or the other to help us turn the defender. A lot of times kids want to take the defender all in the middle. If we want to take the defender to the left, we're going to attack the right and kind of turn them, and then we can get into them. The same thing if we want to turn them right. We're going to attack that left shoulder, left hip, and make him turn that way. That's a big thing. The other thing we've got to have, in blocking now, and all the time, it's always been quick feet. We go over with our linemen, drills, first step, second step, third step, fourth step, fifth step, and then drive steps. We have these drills where it's, first step, quick foot kind of thing. We really work on that. We set up a lot of agility drills at the beginning of the practice to step over bags, shuffle through bags. So linemen really need to have quick feet. So remember, you need to have your blocking assignments. You really need to teach good blocking technique fundamentals. And there's quite a few. Actually, there's two videos that I really like, and I've got them in my Twitter feed and actually on coachparker.org where I can't remember where he's from, but it's a YouTube. It's two YouTube videos, and I'll try to post those in the comments below or off my coachparker.org site, where he goes over a lot of good technique on drive blocks and angle blocks and the technique there. And you guys can certainly find those, and I'll post those in the bottom there on the blocking fundamentals. But really, blocking is violent shoving, hands are weapons, no chicken wings, got to have some quick feet, engage your defender. The other thing with blocking that a lot of coaches forget is, are you going to pull a guard, a tackle, or a tight end? Are you going to overload? Is that something you're going to do? That means put like a power tackle over on the play side, or are you going to do a combination of both of those? I've done both. I actually prefer just to overload and run right down your throats, but I have also pulled when I've had the guards be able to do that. We kind of find it difficult to pull in rec football. I guess you could pull, but is it effective? I found that it's not as effective, so I don't pull as much unless I really have a very quick guard that can do it. I definitely go overloaded quite a bit. The other thing that we teach is the inside gap is the most important gap, especially for guards. They must protect the centers. Centers are getting beat up quite a bit in youth football. A good defensive strategy, if you guys haven't figured out, is to put a big kid in front of the center and kind of wipe them out for the first, second quarter, especially if it's a shotgun snap. And that's pretty tough on centers. And so we really, really teach the guards to make a hard inside step and protect our centers. But everybody, almost every one of our blocking calls, even if we zone block to the outside, I like a quick jab step to inside to catch anybody and then move to the outside. So we really teach the inside gap as the most important gap. And the inside gap is the most, of course, important gap because it's closest to the ball and the quarterback, and we don't want anybody to get in there fast. The other thing that a lot of folks that'll help you out on blocking is a lot of kids at this age their bodies aren't fully developed yet to get out of a three-point stance. Sometimes we get big kids that aren't strong enough or quick enough to get out of a 3 or 4 point stance to even make their block. So we put a lot of kids in a 2-point stance, and that seems to help them quite a bit with having quicker feet. And I know probably a lot of you are going, "Oh my God, that's not right." Well, in youth football, at least what I've seen, we don't have a lot of time to teach kids 3-point stance and work with them 5 days a week like the junior highs do. I only have 2 days a week for practice. So it's hard for us to really work on everything in the stance, even though we want them to learn a 3-point stance, to get in proper 3-point, to actually get out of it is another story. So that's one thing you might want to look at on your offensive line. Right now, I have 2 big kids that are better out of a 2-point stance, and it's worked out great for us. So that's kind of the slide on the blocking fundamentals there. If you've got any questions, you can leave me some comments in the comments below. But let's get into, since a lot of folks on my blog and when I talk to people actually ask me a lot about my blocking assignments. So I'll go through some of those now and kind of talk about those a little bit. So here's God. It looks like they're in this is God, which is inside gap, on and down, GOD. That's what that stands for. And basically what God does is you're trying to double team the front men on the line and drive those guys back into the linebacker. And we really stress when we call God is we're trying to double, triple team any down lineman back into the linebackers. And usually our fullbacks will pick up outside DNs on this particular blocking rule. And I run this quite a bit on inside plays, quick dives up between the tackles, maybe some off tackles, but I know Dave Caesar is really big on God blocking, and it's worked out for me as well. And this is like one of 7 calls that I use, but this is a good base call that you can pretty much run your offense through the season on, if just using gap on down, and make some minor adjustments there. The other blocking call that, and I used this 20 years ago, and the Gregory guys, I guess, named it SAB, but I was using this since junior high, and actually when I use it in Pee Wee, we just angle blocked quite a bit. They kind of coined it severe angle block, and if you can find that presentation out there, he goes into a lot of depth on how they pull and what they do. But it's really just a right and left track block, and we call it Roger and Larry. So this is Roger. We're just track blocking like 10 to 15 yards down the field. We stay in the track We're not really assigned to a particular man. We're assigned to a particular track. And basically you're just creating this wall, this massive wall going one way. And it's very effective, especially for off-tackle plays and sweeps. And, with the sweep, you can run the blocking away from the sweep, and it's almost like a zone block if you go toward the sweep. And we've done both, and it kind of works. So instead of, actually having a true zone, here's Larry, you could kind of run this angle block, Larry and Roger, instead of like a true kind of zone block. And it sort of works at the youth level because there's just a lot of people going that way. So that's just angle blocking there, or severe angle blocking. But if you can find, I think it's the Dave Gregory's lineman coach's presentation on severe angle block out on the internet, and it is at it is on my CoachParker.org website, I believe, or Twitter feed, and I'll try to post that in the link below or on my website with this particular article or video blog. Another blocking rule that we use is gap on outside. So it's inside gap, man up on, and then outside man. And we use this a lot. This is what we call our pass blocking call. And it's not a true pass blocking, but basically we look inside on, and then we kind of push our guys to the outside. We also have our backside tight end use goo blocking quite a bit, where he'll hinge block on the backside to try to take out a quick defensive end. And so that's our goo block there, gap on outside. Favorite blocking call that I have is wedge blocking. I've got a couple of articles on wedge blocking on CoachParker.org, but if you've got the right lineman for it, it is a science and an art to run the wedge. And when you've got the right people to do it, it's very demoralizing to a defense to run the wedge on them quite a bit. I love the wedge, especially when I have a big center and fairly good sized tackles or guards. And a lot of times if our guards are small but tackles are big, we'll just flip the tackles to guards and run a wedge right up between the big hogs right there. But we have a wedge call. Another favorite that I ran in junior high is basically just a split block at the hole. As you can see, we call like 24 lead BB split at 4. It tells you're going to split at the 4. You may run something another hole and split somewhere else to try to gain some advantage on a defense, but that's basically what it looks like. We'll run like a power lead dive and isolate the linebacker with the BB split call there. If we teach the kids, if there is a defender in the gap that they're going to split, then the outside guy's basically going to double team and not make the split, and then the back is going to have to read going to the outside of the hole. So that's one little thing on that particular line call there. This is kind of a custom on God blocking or goal blocking, and this is inside gap on linebacker down for gold. This is where, a lot of teams will be in a 5-3, or they've got linebackers backed off and there's not a lot of kids down on the line. Gold really works out good because we can attack the linebacker, and we want to attack the inside linebacker first, and then we'll block down. The other thing, we may have gold that season where it's gap on linebacker, go find a defender. We don't care, if there's no inside linebacker, we want you to go find a defender that's basically play side. So we kind of tweak that a little bit on gold. But gold is good for when, like I said, you've got guys backed off the line and there's no one in front of your kids, kind of in a 5-3 or a 4-4 kind of thing. Zone, zone is kind of difficult. I've got some stuff drawn up here, but there's several youth football presentations on blocking zone there. At a rec level, I've never really been able to pull it off how I wanted to, because I really only have about 2 days a week to practice, and about 30 or 40 minutes to spend with linemen and technique. And so that's just never worked out for me, where I've been able to get one of my rec teams to zone block here. But the calls for me are Zorro and Zulu. You can see there's a pull there. I usually run that severe angle block toward the play, and that pretty much pulls off what I need to do at the rec level there. The other thing back on God is, if you're getting a team that's stacked up, that's running stacks on you quite a bit. I know the 3-3 stack is fairly popular in youth football. We will God block, and then we have a call called cannon, where everybody basically crab crawl blocks into their inside gap, and then we'll run sweeps outside. So cannon is our call for making sure we all go into a crab block or a bear crawl kind of block with our head to the inside, hip up, and we block our inside gap there to make sure nobody can bust through. But that's kind of a quick basic overview of my youth football blocking, what I've been using over the last 20 plus seasons in youth football. It is a lot. It's a lot more than a lot of kids use, but what's great about having the different blocking calls is you can quickly adjust to any defense when you're calling your offensive plays. We usually have the play call, like let's see, power I, 26 power lead dive, BB split at the 6, and on 1. And then if we get into it, we need to call something different. If we can say, let's change the BB split block to a God block because the split isn't working, or let's change it to a Larry or Roger block. And so we have that ability to tag a different blocking call in the end of the play, and that seems to have worked out good for us. So I hope you enjoyed this presentation on blocking in youth football. If you've got any questions, please leave those in the comments below. Please like the video, and or don't like it if you don't, and leave me any questions or comments below. I'd really appreciate it. Please subscribe to the channel. I'm just getting started off and trying to do at least 2 or 3 videos a week. Again, this is Coach Parker, and thanks for joining me, and visit me anytime at coachparker.org. And remember, play for fun, but winning is funner.